Okay, guys, I had to take the afternoon off. I got a doctor's appointment, so I'm going to read you the reading for today. So pay attention. Okay, I'm here at home in my home office again. Our first we were reading from 242 to 252, and so the our first chapter is called Hangover. Of course, this is what Sal and Sam are experiencing. So it goes this way. He says, "Yep, that Sunday morning I ran into the word hangover. I didn't exactly want to be a hangover's friend. Sam told me to drink lots and lots of water, which I did. I took a shower. All I wanted to do was sleep. I felt like crap. I mean, emotionally speaking, I felt really, really bad. Sam said it was called the Walk of Shame. Yeah, I said, it's the perfect name for what I feel. Well, I feel the same way. I really am ashamed of myself. I mean, your dad's like this great guy, and he's all about being good to me, and here I get drunk on his wine. Shit, Sally. I mean, on top of everything else, we stole his wine. We're idiots. Yeah, we are. And then what I told him, I mean, I shouldn't have said what I said. I told him to stop living his life around me. But the thing is, maybe I've been living my life around him. It's like I've always wanted to please him and be a good boy and all that. And hell, I mean, I don't want to disappoint him. Maybe the truth is that you've been lying to you and that you've been living your lives around each other. And maybe you have to do something about that, both of you. It's what we've done forever, though. It has to. He has to live his life, and you have to live yours. Me and Sylvia, we had that down pat. Oh God, what am I gonna do? Can we just pretend none of this happened? That's the walk of shame talk, Sally. No pretending. Pretending equals no bueno. Okay, no pretending. Shit. So how many times have you been drunk, Sammy? I don't know. Enough times, I guess. I don't know why I do it. I don't know why I experiment with mood altering crap. I always wind up hating myself for it. Walk of shame talk, I said. And then we both sort of laughed. Half hearted laughter. Walk of shame laughter. Guess we weren't up to whistling in the dark. There were clouds floating in the autumn air. It was really warm, and it wasn't really warm, and it wasn't really cold. But the breeze was almost cold. Dad was sitting on the steps. He had a cigarette in his lips, but it wasn't lit. We had our baseball gloves. I had our baseball gloves. Want to play catch? Sure, he said. So we started tossing the ball around. I'm sorry I yelled at you, I said. He smiled. It's okay, Sally, but let's make a deal. Okay. I think I need to give you some space, you know? Things are rough for you right now, and you're not used to rough. I think I spoiled you a bit too much. Yeah, sure, Dad. That's why I'm driving my BMW sports car around town. That's not what I meant. I just protected you. Maybe a little too much. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah, I think so. You never wanted anything bad to happen to me. Maybe because I lost my mom? I didn't want you to lose anything else. A little overprotective, I guess. Just a little. I couldn't help but smile. I get that, Dad. But we're okay, Salvi, me and you. We're okay? Yeah, we're okay. And then he smiled. But I'm afraid you owe me for a couple of bottles of red wine. I wanted to tell him that we'd figure out the Marcos thing. We'd figure it out. I'd figure it out. Next chapter is Mima Cake. Remember, they baked the cake for her before they got drunk. Mima was a real talker, loved to talk. But that Sunday when Sam and I handed her the cake, her face lit up and she hugged us. But she didn't talk much. She held my hand, she held Sam's hand, she held my dad's hand. But she didn't say much. Her eyes searched the quiet room, and I didn't know what she was looking for. She loved the flowers we gave her, and she asked me to put them on the kitchen table. Dad and Evie made the late lunch. Mima didn't eat much. But when it came to the cake, she had two pieces. Who made this cake? Sam and I made it. She started talking a bit, but I know it was taking a lot of effort. My mother used to bake bread every Saturday on a wood stove, and she knew how to make root beer. Did you know that? She used to make all of my dresses. I have her sewing machine. I feel like seeing her again. Her voice sounded strange and far away, as if she'd left the room. But then she took her fork and asked for a little more cake. And dug in and offered me a bite. She smiled, and I smiled back. She fed me a bit of cake, and I remembered those days when I was a small boy. As we drove home in the dark, it started to rain. It'll be your last Thanksgiving. Dad's voice was sad, but it was also a matter of fact. Everyone will be here, he said. I didn't feel anything. I didn't want to feel anything. I knew Sam was in her own corner of the world, thinking about her mother. When we got home, Dad went into his studio. I think I'll work a while, he said. The streets were wet, but it had stopped raining, and it was cool, but it wasn't cold. Sam and I decided to go for a run. I wondered if running in the dark was the same as whistling in the dark. I don't know if Sam was crying. She did that a lot. She cried when she ran. It was the grief thing, the my mother died thing. I don't know if she cried that night as we ran, but I did. Next chapter is called Poetry. Poetry? So the hangover was more than a memory, and the sadness over Mima's visit seemed to have abated. Abated, another word Sam taught me. Sam and I were walking to school, and I felt oddly normal, meaning I didn't have any feelings running through me. Maybe the weekend had tired me out. I was feeling okay, like everything was okay, even though it wasn't. And I told Sam what Dad had said about the wine. Too bad we're not old enough to buy Mr. V some nice wine, she said. Yeah, too bad. Hey, she said, maybe we can get Marcos to take us wine shopping. So you're warming up to him or what? I'm just pragmatic. That guy should be good for something. I smiled. Pragmatic. Remember you spelled that word in the spelling bee? Why do you always have to remind me of that day? You still mad? I give that creep evil looks when I run into him at school. Sammy, you know how to hold a grudge, don't you? It's not always such a bad thing, you know. Keeps a lot of shitheads out of my life. She gave me a look because I was laughing. You're laughing at me? Really? What if? I said. What if? She replied. Where did our what if game come from? I don't know, maybe I just felt like playing. It seems like we haven't played in a long time. Yeah, it does seem that way, doesn't it? She said. What if? I said. What if? Sam said. What if I were a poet and you were a poet too? If I were a poet, I would write a poem too. And she smiled. Okay, I'll need some time with that one. I opened the front door of the school building. By the end of the day, I'll have my mind ready, she said. Me too, I said. And don't write it during math. You need to pay attention. Bye, I said. Bye, she said. Great day, I said. Great day, she said. And then I saw Enrique Infante walking in the other direction. Faggot, he said. I gave him a cheesy smile. You want I should bash your face in again? Come at me, white boy. I almost turned around and went for him, but I kept walking. We were on the school grounds. I actually let a thought come between me and my fist reflex. During lunch, this is what I wrote in my notebook. If I were a poet, I would write a poem that would make people's tongues fall out every time they said the word faggot. I read what I'd written and I was pretty proud of myself. But I knew Sam was going to be really good, and I wanted to remain competitive, so I thought a minute, and then I wrote, if I were a poet, I would write a poem so beautiful and moving that it would cure cancer, and cancer would never enter another human being ever again. Not ever. And then I was into it, so I started to write another one. If I were a poet, I would write a poem that would make my dad's heart smile. And he would never feel any sadness, and every day he would wake into the beauty of. After school, we met at Sam's locker. You look smug, she said. I don't do smug, I replied. Oh, yeah, you're all about smug right now. You know you think you wrote a really out of this world cool poem, don't you? Yep. Yeah, well, we'll see. Then we cracked up laughing and decided to wait until we got home to read each other's poems. I guess they were I guess they were poems. I mean, what the hell did I know about poems? The only poem I ever really liked was this poem called Autobiographia Literaria by some guy named Frank O'Hara. I had it on my bulletin board at home. Sam liked to read it to me. Sam kicked me as I walked. Did you have a great day? Yeah, I said. We had a substitute in my English class, and he didn't give a rat's tail about teaching, so Fido and I just texted each other. What were you texting? Fido's situation at home seems to be getting worse. Well, that's no bueno. No bueno was right. And then this morning, my good friend Enrique Infante walked past me in the hallway and called me a faggot. He's a sleaze bucket. Yep, I told him maybe I'd bash his face in again. No bueno, she said. No bueno was right. It really pisses me off that he also called me a white boy. Uh-oh, Sam started laughing. Hey, you're supposed to be on my side. But you are a white guy. Really? We're going to get into that discussion again? Really? She messed up my hair and smiled. Just relax, no worries, Enrique will get his. Yep, that's what I think. I wondered what she was up to. She had that look. When we got home, I gave Sam my poems and she gave me hers. This is what she wrote. If I were a poet, I would write a poem that would make the oceans clean again. I would write a poem so pure that it would rain for days, and when the skies were clear again, 1,000,000 stars would fill the summer night. I would write a poem to make the people see guns are guns and are unworthy of our love. I would write a poem to make all the bullets disappear. I looked at her. Wow, mine are kind of stupid compared to yours. She smiled at me. Stupid boy, you're incapable of stupidity. She got up from the couch and took her poem and mine. I'm going to put them on the refrigerator so your dad can read them. Good girl, I said. He would like that. Yep. So Sam took off the postcards that were on the refrigerator and replaced them with our poems. We got to get some new magnets, she said. Sam was starting to get all domestic on me. Who knew? Sam and I were studying in the living room. I looked up to see my dad standing there. So how are my budding poets? I kind of smiled at him. Sam's the better poet. My father had this incredible look on his face. He said, sometimes I love you both so much that I can hardly bear it. Then he turned around and walked toward the kitchen. What do you want for dinner? Tacos, I said. Tacos it is. I looked at Sam and saw tears running down her face. What? I said. Your dad. He says things that make me cry. Beautiful things, I said. Yeah, beautiful. How come more guys aren't like your dad? I have no frickin' idea. And then I thought, because most guys are like my bio father. I had no idea why that thought came from, where that thought came from. I don't know a damn thing about my bio father. So there's our reading for the day. Go ahead and do your reading response. And I will see you on Friday. Make sure that you guys plan for the essay because you're going to have to put it on Eduphoria on Friday. It's due by Friday, and it is a district essay. They want to see your writing, and so make sure you don't blow this off. So we will talk to you guys when I get back.